What's up? Dennis here, Analog Archives. Alright, as promised, here is my delve into the second tier old school death metal. Um, so, what is second tier death metal, you may ask? So, I mean, it's basically stuff that isn't common. I would say like people that like Death, Cannibal Corpse, um, Carcass, Morbid Angel, Obituary, all those bands I consider first tier death metal. So this would be more like bands that kind of came after, but some of them released stuff at the same time. But they weren't as well known, or I mean, a lot of different reasons. I just call them second tiers because they're just not well known. And some of you, I mean, a lot of you might know a lot of these bands, which is fine. I get it. I'm not saying they're obscure. I'm just saying they're second tier, and they're my favorite ones. So, and this is going to be more than just this one because I have a lot. It's one of my favorite genres. So, and I kept all these old school. There's nothing, I don't think, past like 96. I don't think so. If there is, I'll let you know. I actually wrote down some stuff. Try to keep it somewhat interesting as well as educational. I mean, it's not just like, I like this, but what we're jamming, Deteriorate. And this is not to be confused with Deteriorate. I believe these dudes were from the East Coast. This is newer. This was like 2001. But it still has that murky, old school, heavy, killer sound, man. I know these guys were around in the 90s too. I don't have their demo. I think it was re-released, but I didn't get to pick it up when it came out. I missed it, so I'll have to look for that. But check this one out, and this is In Ancient Beliefs, and this is a promo. They don't do these anymore, but back in the day, and this was on World War III records. They would send these to, like, I don't know if they sent them to record stores or just to like like radio stations, but they would always end up at record stores, and they were like $1. Yeah, I paid 49 cents for this, and they would just have shit tons of them. So I'd always buy them. I have so many old school death metal, black metal shit on this. Some stuff I don't even know where it's at, but I gotta sort through that stuff and have a lot of good stuff on these little promos. But it's something they did back in the day, and they were usually giveaways. But they're pretty cool now to have. But isn't everything now? All right, let's get started. These aren't in any order. These are just some of my favorites, and like I said, this is going to be at least a two-parter. A lot of these are going to be CDs. There will be a few vinyl that I pulled out, but most are CDs. All right, let's get started. Uncanny, and this is Splenium for Nyctophobia. These dudes were from Sweden, and they were on Unisound Records out of Greece. I used to find these Unisound records a lot. Even at the flea market one time, this guy had a bunch of Unisound stuff, and I can only afford so much at the time. I don't think I bought this, but I think I bought Rotting Christ and Thou Shalt Suffer. Thou Art Lord. I can't remember the name of that band. The one that has like the devil sitting in a chair. Yeah, Thou Art Lord, I think it is. But anyways, these guys they have really heavy rhythms. Some mild keyboards in there, atmospheric. You can hear some dismember, some necrophobic, but super tight musically. They don't sound like, just because I mentioned those bands, a lot of times I'll just mention bands because just to kind of give you an idea, because I don't want to sit here and put everything in my CD player. But maybe we'll do that. If you guys want me to like play like samples of shit, fuck, we can make long ass videos and I'll just play like, you know, a track or half a track or something. But I mean, just go check it out on YouTube. But yeah, killer fucking Swedish death metal, and this is from '94, so kind of after the heyday. It was hard to like kind of find bands at the time, so this was cool to find. All right, number 2, and I'm doing only full lengths. I will do another video that has EPs, but right now it's only full lengths. Next one, Vol'jin, and these dudes are from the US. This came out in '96. Not a lot of people talk about this band. They have 2 releases. This is their first one. This is on Deathgasm Records. Heavy fucking shit. Sounds like a almost doom death, but it has faster parts in it. Somewhat like Autopsy. I would, if I had to like say who they kind of sound like, I would go Autopsy. And that's from '96 from the US. A Vol'jin. Check out both their releases. Both are really good. I didn't grab the other one, but a lot of these I just grabbed, you know. And I got that at like a fest, Tidal Wave Fest, where a bunch of thrash bands were playing. And they had like a bunch of CDs, and this was like $5. And I was like, oh fuck, man, I remember this band, but I don't know what they sound like. And then when you see the dudes on the back, you're like, oh fuck, man, you know it's gonna be good. And it was. Up next, this band is from Sweden. There's gonna be a lot of Swedish bands. Setnix, and this is, what's this one called? Reflections. So I had some Setnix stuff before this, and look at this fucking cover, dude. Got a little digital winged demon. That's fucking killer. With his little fucking scythe. That's fucking sick. Man, this album fucking kills, dude. I love this one. It's my favorite Setnix album. After this, they were more melodic. Swedish Death. But this one, they're just straight out forward death metal. There's some melodic parts, lots of fucking sick rhythms. Kind of like a mix between death and black metal. But it does have that super catchy rhythms and like traditional HM2 sound on it. It does have a drum machine, but I can't tell. It's super good. I mean, anytime you read a review of this, it's just some fucking scumbag complaining about drum machines. It's always like, dude, just fucking listen to the fucking CD, dude. Why? This is drum machines. I don't like it. It sounds very drum machiney. No, you don't even know until you read the fucking review, dude. But whatever. I always thought that sounded fine. There's a lot of like music that has drum machines or programmed drums that it is what it is, dude. It's not about that shit. Up next, another one from Sweden, Morpheus, and this is Son of Hypnos. Man, this is from Sweden, but man, it's fucking killer. This is OG. All these are OG press, unless I say they're not. And this is, I wrote down thick as fuck sound. Obscure sounding rhythms, crunchy guitar tone. Similar, they do have a similar sound to Grave, I would say, if I had to pick anybody. But they have these really weird, obscure rhythms. Again, super catchy shit where you're like, fuck, what? That just sounds different. Vocals kind of sound like Florida type stuff, almost like Cam Lee. I think they're a little bit buried in the mix, if I remember. But this shit rules. So does the EP, which I don't have. I need to grab the EP. But this fucking kills, man. Check it out, Morpheus from Sweden. Up next, never guess where these guys are from. Sweden. Luciferion. And this is Demonification, the Manifest. Man, Check that shit out. Crushing, super fast, in your face, fucking death metal. Doesn't sound Swedish. It does have a Swedish flair to it. You could totally hear Deicide and Morbid Angel mixed in there with like a Swedish sound, I guess. But super fucking tight musicianship. Touch of Sinister as well. So yeah, check those guys out. I don't think that ever got re-released, as far as I know. Neither did the Morpheus. The Morpheus, I'm lying. You can get that on. I think it's on vinyl. I mean, I know it's on vinyl. I don't know if they re-released it on CD. They probably did. I'm not up on all the re-releases. All right, next one. These dudes are not from Sweden, but they are from Finland. Adremelik with Psychostasia. Oh man, Head and Gem, man, that nobody cared about. I think I got this in a bargain bin for like $2. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the Luciferions from '94 and the Morpheus from '93 and the Setniks from '97. This one is from '96. Kind of late to the old school death metal sound again from '96. Super haunting song structures. Kind of like you can hear some Demigod and some Demolik. I didn't pull Demigod. I might do it for the next one. I didn't pull Demolik. Everybody talks about those bands, so I kept some of those bands out, like on purpose, and like Convulse. Just bands that are already like over talked about. Not that they're not some of my favorite bands. I just didn't want to do all the same shit, and I try to keep out some of the other stuff other people mention. But yeah, killer shit, Finnish fucking old school blasting fucking death metal. I did want to mention that this second tier was done by Devin and Jurgen. They did this top 10 second tier death metal in response to my second tier thrash metal, because they don't want to do the same thrash metal releases. So this is kind of a response to my video, I guess, which is weird, but it's been in the works. All right. Up next, a band I always fucking loved, again from Sweden, Excruciate, and this is re-release. And I think this came out in the early 2000s or mid 2000s. I don't think this label is around anymore. I can't even read it, it's super small. King something? Conqueror Records. And this is a double CD, so it has the full length, which is Beyond the Circle, and second CD has the demos on it. And I think that it does have the split with Epitaph as well. Epitaph will make my second video. Love Epitaph. But yeah, Excruciate. Kind of like mid-paced, super heavy. You know what I liked about this, and I like it a lot about a lot of the old school death metal bands from the early 90s, is they always incorporate a lot of like grind. So they'll, because Napalm Death and Carcass were huge at the time. Huge bands. So this came out in '93, the heyday of fucking death metal, right? So it will be slow shit, and then it'll just fucking grind out full on blast beats, which sounds so fucking sick, man. But yeah, check this out. There is some Grave and Carnage influence in there, and then, like I said, Napalm Death, some Repulsion, stuff like that mixed into this stuff. Just fucking amazing stuff. Excruciate if you haven't heard it. From Sweden, Beyond the Circle. Up next, I talked about these guys before a long time ago in a different video, but they definitely make my list of top second tier death metal bands, and that's 122 Stab Wounds. And these guys were from Norway from '96. And as you can guess, it does have a nice mix of, it's like black metal played with HM2 pedals, but then it has like some keyboards, super sick song structures. Definite black metal with the vocals, but he does have kind of a darker tone to his vocals, so it fits death metal. And then some deicide in there, other stuff mixed in, but heavy fucking shit if you haven't heard this. 122 stab wounds. The deity of perversion. Sorry. Alright, up next we are another band from Sweden. Unanimated. Oh man, one of my favorites. Forest of the Dreaming Dead. And this just has like a picture of the band, which is kind of lame. I know they re-released it with like more artwork on it, but I kind of still prefer this one for some reason. And this is just like melodic Swedish blackened death metal. Kind of like you can hear some Necrophobic, some Dawn, some Morbid Angel, just evil fucking sounding shit. I know they went on to more of a black metal record after this. I can't remember the name of that record, Evil and Good. I don't remember. That's a Mace record, isn't it? Something has like an upside down cross on it. I have it on vinyl, but yeah, Unanimated. If you haven't heard these guys, just fucking amazing stuff. Check it out for sure. All right, now we're getting into a little bit more stuff that you guys might not have heard of. These guys are from Sweden too. The Unanimated is from '93. This Decameron is from '96. Decameron from Sweden. Probably not a lot of people heard of this band. Somewhat underground. It's on No Fashion Records. More melodic, blackened death with some, kind of has some new wave of British heavy metal mixed in there, especially in the song structures. Definitely can hear some Unanimated, Dawn, Necrophobic. So you could tell the kind of stuff I like, because it's all going to be like this. Just the stuff that was just amazing for the time. Especially, this is '96, so the heyday of At the Gates and all those bands was already kind of going on. Dark Tranquility, all those melodic death metal bands. Swedish death metal stuff, so these guys kind of took it a step further, and I guess like they would add in like more of the death metal vibe to it, which I liked. This next band, this is on Black Mark, and these dudes were they're from the UK, and this is Gomorrah, and this one is Reflections of Inanimate Matter. Fucking killer. Really cool song structures, different kind of. I do hear some benediction in there, some melodic Swedish, some Florida stuff. But yeah, I do hear some benediction. I don't know if that's just because they're from the UK and I'm just going with that, but killer shit that nobody talks about. Black Mark put out a lot of great shit, and this is one of them. Check these guys out, they don't get enough play. This next one, Ceremonium. These dudes are from the US, and this is just crushing doom death. I didn't put a lot of doom death on here, just because I wanted to keep it straight death metal, but it is, I don't really care. I'm just going to put whatever I want. And Into the Autumn Shade, and this came out in '95. Super heavy crushing doom, kind of like a mix of Mental Funeral era Autopsy with Paradise Lost and My Dying Bride type stuff. Just heavy fucking doom death, man. Ceremonium, if you haven't heard this and you like doom death, check these guys out. Really awesome fucking CD. They have an EP too that I have. Good stuff. All their stuff's good. This next band, these guys are from Sweden. This is from '93, and this is the Desultory, Into Eternity. Fucking great shit. Oh, that Ceremonium's not an original, by the way. That's a bootleg, Polish boot. But this Desultory is on Metal Blade. This is like fucking Swedish Death, but like with a Slayer sound to it. Like if Slayer played Swedish death metal, but then mixed with like a fucking gnarly mix of like Nihilist and Dismember or something. So yeah, imagine those three bands, and you get this some really killer fucking tracks on this with some like really like badass rhythms where you're like, fuck man, this is fucking killer shit. Like you stop and you just, man, that desultory, that's fucking good. So is the second one, Into Bitterness, or Bitterness, Into Eternity and Bitterness. But this one's way better. Next up, another one of my favorites from back in the day, Sorcery, Blood Chilling Tales. And this was a re-release that came out in the, I think, earlier mid-2000s as well. I like how it has the original art. I think they re-released it again. It doesn't have this. And I believe, it doesn't say that, I can't read the record label, but super small on here. I don't know if it's official. I think it is. It does have all the demos, or it has like 2 bonus tracks on it. It's on Merciless, I think, if I can kind of see that logo. Oh, it's on No Colors. So, yeah, it could be a boot. You never know with No Colors. But yeah, again, this sounds more like old school fucking Swedish death metal. This is from '93. Dismember, Grave, sick ass melodies. Great vocals, man. Super low growl, and then mixed with that like a snarl, kind of like almost a macabre. Like not the higher vocals in macabre, but like the lower vocals, but like they're kind of higher pitched. Kind of sounds like that. Just original stuff. Sorcery, check it out. All right, I'm gonna get into a couple records. First up, we have the Xysma. Xysma, yeah. These guys are from Swedish. This is a comeback record. I don't know why it says that. I thought this was on Thrash Records. Let's check it out. Maybe it is on comeback. I didn't know that was a label. Yeah. Comeback. Okay. Learning things here. So Xysma, yeah, really fucking amazing shit. This takes a turn from their demo stuff, which was more grindcore, a la Carcass. The first song's super weird. Why Am I? Where it's more like almost has like a death and roll feel to it, but then it has these weird grindy parts, and then the fucking production's just so fucking nasty. Kind of like has gurgling death metal vocals, but then sounds like death and roll mixed with like Voivod or something. And then the rest of the record pretty much is like just original sounding like grinding death metal, like a mix between grind and death metal, and just whatever they wanted to do. Some keyboards, just fucking amazing shit. Check out the Xysma Yeah record if you haven't. Killer stuff, man. Up next, another one that's pretty obscure. Carbonized, For the Security. This was the one on Thrash Records. So the thing with Xysma and Carbonized, I had the 7 inches too. I'll do a 7-inch video. I'll talk about a lot of my favorite 7 inches. But I had heard Carbonized and I had heard Xysma on their 7 inches and the demos before I heard this. And this is a little bit different, but still grind mixed with death metal, kind of some like Terrorizer sounds mixed with Swedish Death, but not like a HM2 sound. They have a different guitar sound. Almost has like a thin demo sound to it, but because of that, it makes it sound even better. It just really works. I could also hear some napalm in there, some heresy. You could just tell they were into like grind, they were into hardcore, they were into death metal, and they just mixed it all into this. Really good shit. Love the cover. Not sure what's going on. Secret Service agent. Found some skulls in a corner. I don't know. But it matches the record for the weirdness factor, I guess. But fucking great record. Check it out. Up next and last. I thought this video was going to go longer. I'm glad it didn't. Dudes are from the U.S. Mortis Gold. Actually, this isn't the last. It's just the last vinyl. Fuck. Mortis Gold. Dying Remains. Look at that cover, man. I don't know. Is that like an evil punk guy up there with a chain in him? And why does he look like he's having a good time? He's like, yeah, bitch. Check it out. I got a chain leg. I don't know, man. This just kind of reminds me of the Baphomet and fucking that kind of art. The fucking Vital Remains. Look at those guys. Yeah, I was lucky enough to see these guys a few years ago. Just put on an amazing show, and this is just fucking killer. U.S. death metal. Great harmonies. Kind of, you can hear some Obituary and some European influences on it. So you could tell these guys were definitely listening to stuff from Sweden at the time. But it still has that U.S. sound, that rooted sound, that's still that Florida sound mixed in there. But yeah, great stuff, man. Alright, up next. I kind of switched this one out at the last minute. I had picked their previous album, but upon listening to it, I went back to this one because I think it's my favorite out of the two. Might be my favorite by the band. And this is Flesh Crawl with Impurity. And this is on Black Mark Records. This stuff is just fucking brutal, dude. It's like in your face Swedish death metal, but it has like this U.S. New York death metal sound to it, where it's like if Cannibal Corpse were from Sweden, almost. But this has more of the first one has kind of a less of a punch to it, and it's kind of a little bit, has these really doomy parts to it, which kind of take away from some of the songs because they go on too long, in my opinion. But this one just goes for the throat. It does have some slower parts here and there, but it's crunchy fucking HM2 shit from Germany. Oh, I forgot to say when that Mortis Gold came out, 93. And this came out, I don't know, I didn't write the date down for this one. I want to say 95? Somewhere around there, 94, 95. I think this is like 95. But yeah, if you haven't heard this Flesh Crawl, I mean, all their stuff's pretty good. But this one, for me, takes a cake. I just like the cover, too. It's just like what looks like to be like whipped bodies or something, and just the logo up at the top, which is just in like bold font. Just makes you want to fucking jam this shit, and this is fucking amazing stuff. Check it out. Alright, last but not least, one of the fucking killer bands here that not a lot of people talk about. Actually, I don't think I heard anybody ever talk about them. And this is Miscreant, Dreaming Ice. These dudes are from Sweden. And the record label, I think it's on Wrong Again. Yeah, Wrong Again Records. Yeah, so these guys are melodic Swedish death metal, but have that death metal. They're soaked in death metal, more death metal than melodic. And what's cool about this band, they have some female vocals, they have harsh vocals, they have clean vocals. It's all over the place, and it's really, really well done. Highly suggest this if you like Swedish death metal. Miscreant, Dreaming Ice. And what's cool about it is their sound is almost rooted in like a Bay Area thrash sound. So their rhythms are almost like a Testament, Exodus, Metallica type of thing, which you can hear layered over the Swedish death metal, which is fucking killer, dude. Spoken word stuff, fucking from beginning to end, one of the best fucking unknown Swedish death metal bands. I know Crystal Age, they'll be in my next one. I think they were one of the more unrecognized bands. Now I'm thinking Miscreant is up there now. Seeing as how people, I think they're re-releasing that Crystal Age, or they already did. So that'll probably be in my next video if you guys didn't hear me talk about them. But that's all I got for now. I just wanted to put that out. What we're drinking, by the way, is just a Coors. They came out with these cool retro bottles, which I like, the little smaller bottles. They're still 12 ounces, but they're just little bottles. But yeah, so part 2 coming soon. Got another video coming up this weekend if everything goes right. It'll be with Sector. We're gonna do the top 10 crossover band video. We already pulled all the vinyl and everything. We just ran out of time last weekend. So look forward to that, and part 2 of this and part 3 is probably coming up soon. Alright, take care.